is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
"11 games in 10 days comes to a close today in Kansas City as the Twins and Royals finish this 4-game series at Kauffman Stadium. A couple of lefties take the hill as Hector Santiago looks to get his season back on track. And Travis Wood will be the 6th left-handed starter Minnesota has faced in the last 12 games. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by State Farm. Welcome inside the ballpark. It is a beautiful summer afternoon here in Kansas City, and after today's game for Minnesota, it will be 81 down and 81 to go. And it's been a solid first half for the Minnesota Twins. They have already guaranteed themselves of an above 500 record. They have an outstanding mark away from target field. Offensively, they have, of course, been led by Miguel Sano. And at the back end, Brandon Kinsler, one of the best closers in the American League. So we thought it'd be a good time to ask Paul Molitor for his report card and analysis of the first half of the season for his club.
You know, I think there's been a lot of positives. You know, we're only around 500. We've showed at times that I think we're a better team than that. I've been impressed probably mostly by the competitive nature of the team collectively. I think that we have fought every day. There's been some games that have been ugly, and you know, we've had to fight through some of those type of things. But for the most part, I think we've competed at a really high level, and you know, there's a lot of support for this group amongst themselves, which I think is critical to a team's success.
It's the final game of the first half, and once again, it's against a left-hander. They face some good ones. Guys like Price and Sale will take you inside the numbers and see who has the matchup against today's left-hander at Kansas City.
On Fox Sports North is presented by Toyota. Tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. The Twins and Royals get ready to play their 4th game in the last 3 days, and the Twins will face off against left-hander Travis Wood. He makes his 134th career start, but first ever start against Minnesota, and his first start since September of 2015. It continues a trend for the Minnesota Twins of seeing an awful lot of left-handed pitching. In their last 12 games, this will be the 6th time they've seen a left-handed starter. And the numbers have not been terrific as far as wins and losses go. You take a look at who they've faced. They've faced some of the best ones in baseball. Guys like Sale, Price, and Vargas. You see the numbers right there. All these games were losses in the win-loss column. And Paul Molitor said part of that is who you're facing. I like the way our guys have battled, and I like the way our younger hitters like Max Kepler are adjusting now against left-handed pitching. But if we're going to be a contender all the way to the finish, we have got to learn to win these games against left-handed pitchers. They'll get another chance here this afternoon against journeyman Travis Wood and the Kansas City Royals, and they're likely going to have to score some runs because the hitters on both sides are red hot. When we come back, Dick Bramer and Jack Morris take a look at a Royal Payne and Miguel Sano and a trifecta of trouble from the Kansas City Royals.
Sano with a 2-run blast to right. Gordon back, still back, gone. A 3-run home run for Miguel Sano. Miguel Sano, a big reason why the Twins will finish the first half of the season with a winning record. He's had a very good first half against the Kansas City Royals, and he hopes to have another big game here this afternoon in the series finale. Beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Kansas City. Dick Bramer, Jack Morris with you for the road trip finale. And make no mistake about it, the Kansas City Royals will be very happy when Miguel Sano leaves town.
Well, he had a pretty good day again yesterday. In a doubleheader, he ends up with 2 home runs, 4 RBI, and 2 runs scored. It's kind of another ho-hum day for Miguel here in Kansas City for whatever reason. His numbers are incredible against the Royals. He must see the ball well here. He hits the ball well here and loves to play in this environment. And one of the reasons the Twins win ball games is what he's able to do at the plate. That one just a monster shot. here yesterday.
Well, the Royals lineup has finally found something, and they've got a State Farm combination of 3 very dangerous hitters against Twins pitching.
Well, these are the guys that you got to be careful with. Moustakas not in the lineup early in this game because Hector Santiago's had good numbers against him, but Hosmer and Sal Perez, both veteran-type hitters, know situations, will hunt pitches. If they think you're going to repeat pitches in the same area, they will look for it and make their adjustments. So pretty good ball club, swinging the bats a lot better now.
It's been a tough road trip. It's been a long road trip, yet the Twins have a chance here this afternoon to make it a winning road trip. Nice homestand waiting for the Twins when they get home. They'll hope to finish off the road trip with a win here in Kansas City this afternoon. It's a shame that StatCast did not register that second home run by Sano, because that may have been baseball's first 500-foot home run. That's how far it was hit.
A lot of people in the area here have claimed that nobody's hit one up there, so that was a bomb.
And it came with 2 men on base. We've got Kevin Gorg here, Jack Morris here, and I'm here, Dick Bramer, as we bring you the final game of this road trip. Twins have a 7-game homestand before the All-Star break. And the Twins hoping to finish off yet another winning road trip. Paul Molitor really encouraged by the performance last night by Felix Jorge and the resulting Twins win. It has been a grind. It's been a tough road trip. But look what the Twins have done on the road this year. This is their 6th road trip. And with this game hanging in the balance, they have yet to have one road trip with a losing record. That is incredible.
Be nice if they were the same at home. They'd be a first-place club going away.
They'd be the Houston Astros.
They would be.
The Menards batting order for the Twins in the road trip finale. Brian Dozier back in the lineup leading off. Robbie Grossman batting second. Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Eduardo Escobar, Jorge Polanco, Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, and Jason Castro.
And they'll be facing really a relief pitcher today. Travis Wood coming out of the bullpen to make a start. Kevin Gordon mentioned the fact that he hasn't started since September 19th, 2015, but kind of thrown in the fire here today because he's a veteran that has had starting experience, and he's left-handed. Ned Yost deciding to keep the tradition going that the Twins have run into lately, a lot of left-handers.
Northland Ford defense for the Royals. Jorge Soler in left field. Lorenzo Cain getting the break today. He played in every game in the month of June. Gordon's out there in center field. Bonifacio's in right. Torres at third for Moustakas, who has struggled against Hector Santiago. Escobar, Merrifield up the middle. Moss is at first. Hosmer, their designated hitter, and Salvador Perez catching. Gordon has said for years he wanted to eventually be a center fielder. He's had that opportunity with Cain getting some breaks here or there.
Yeah, he's surrounded by Jorge's. And let's hope that they play the kind of the way that we expect them to play. Hopefully Gordon can cover from line to line.
Mike Everett, the crew chief, has plate duty. Shane Leivensberger, Jordan Baker, and Bruce Dreckman on the bases. Twins head home after the game, and they'll open up a homestand with the Angels tomorrow night. Orioles come in next weekend, and then it's the All-Star break.
Well, getaway day here in Kansas City. The Twins would love to even up this series. They need to score first. Give Hector a little bit of room to breathe out there. Give him a little confidence, and you never know what could happen.
Dozier, Grossman, and Mauer to get things started against Travis Wood. You saw the numbers: 25 games, 28 2/3 innings pitched, and so what? At best, 3 innings from the left-hander today for the Royals. 4 sure maybe.
They're hoping for more than that, but the reality is he's probably going to go through the lineup once, and that they'll have to reevaluate.
Inside 2-0. That's how desperate situation is here with the Royals in terms of putting together starting pitching. Danny Duffy's hurt. Nate Carnes is hurt. And so the Royals are like everybody else. They're having a hard time filling out the back end of their rotation.
Well, a lot of teams in our division are playing a lot of double headers. Detroit, Cleveland, they've got another one to make up now. So everybody's kind of in the same boat. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the same results. A lot of teams hovering around 500, all within striking distance of first place.
Wood starting Dozier 3-0. And a strike on the outside corner. Wood has been good against left-handers, holding them to a .208 batting average, but again, the volume of innings hardly supporting the idea that he's going to be around long enough to even qualify for a win. A high fly to left field. Going back is Soler, and short of the track makes the catch, one away. So Dozier retired, and that'll bring up Robbie Grossman.
Yeah, just the way that ball was hit, I thought he squared it up pretty good, but there wasn't a lot of carries, so maybe the air's a little thicker here today. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Pretty much the same temperature as our day game yesterday. Very little wind. Flags are pretty still. A little breeze in right field.
87 degrees. And the wind from the south blowing out towards left. Inside ball. Oh, I beg your pardon. Strike 1 to Grossman. Grossman in right field. Kepler continues to struggle against left-handed pitching. Strike 2. Royals signed Wood to a 2-year deal, and he has not performed very well in the first year of that deal. Fouled back.
Well, he's got the experience playing on the World Championship team last year in Chicago. I'm sure part of the reason they brought him over, not only because he's left-handed, but because of that experience. They've got guys here that have experienced the World Championship, and they like to bring in people that want the same goal in mind.
1-2. Two and two.
There's his high-end fastball up there. Ran it up in the zone. 89 miles an hour is where that one topped out.
On the outside corner. 2 down. And that'll bring up Joe Mauer.
He goes fastball again, this time away. Catches the outside corner. Sal Perez right there. Pitcher's pitch. And Robbie thought it might have been outside. Instead, he takes a U-turn.
Bauer playing first base, hitting third. Hoping to extend the inning to get Sano aboard. Or at the plate with a man aboard. Strike one. And now 1-1. Cleveland jumped out ahead of Justin Verlander 4-0 in the third. Twins starting the day 2 games behind the Indians. And I don't know if a bee has been buzzing around home plate. Mauer tried to shoo it away, got out of the batter's box.
Where'd he come from?
Fouled back. 1-2. I think it was on his jersey for a while.
I love it. Mother Nature's got a little more power than a lot of things.
1-2. Off the plate, 2-2. Well, if you're Travis Wood or any other Kansas City pitcher for that matter, you want to get Mauer here because you don't want to face the guy on deck with a man on base.
Well, he's done well against the lefties, and he just wants to come back, get the guys in the dugout, and see what they can do against Santiago.
Tapper, right side. Merrifield flips to first, and a 1-2-3 first inning for Travis Wood. Hector Santiago taking the mound for the bottom of the inning. Back to the 500 mark, and they sit at 40 and 40 right now. The Menards batting order: for the Royals. Whit Merrifield leading off, then Jorge Bonifacio, Eric Hosmer, Salvador Perez, Jorge Soler, Ramon Torres, Brandon Moss, Alcides Escobar, and Alex Gordon.
They're going to face the left-hander, Hector Santiago. Hector only threw 2 innings his last start before the rain came to Boston. He was shortened but took the loss. Needs to establish his breaking ball early in the game. He's a fastball changeup guy, especially to right-handers, stays away, doesn't throw the off-speed pitch much to the left-handed hitters, so needs to establish that breaking ball.
Royals have been pounding the ball over the fence in this series, and that's been an issue for Santiago too. He gave up just 3 home runs in his first 7 starts, and he's given up at least 1 home run in 7 straight appearances, including a relief outing.
And that's one of the reasons he's had trouble winning games. High ERA over his last 9 starts.
Popped up, backing out of play, 1-2.
Working ahead in the count.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Rosario, Buxton, Grossman in the outfield. Escobar at third. Polanco, Dozier, Maurer, the rest of the infielders, and Castro back behind the plate.
That's an ODH, and Escobar playing third today.
1-2 to Merrifield. And a foul away. Santiago typically, even when he was going well, typically threw too many pitches per inning. So Paul Molitor said it's kind of hard to judge what he did at Fenway Park. Threw a lot of pitches, but
yeah, 49, and he acknowledged that's just too many for 2 innings of work.
Up high. Santiago had a good April, 2-1 with an ERA at 2.43. He told us during a telecast the best month he thinks he's had in the big leagues, and then he started May out okay, but then in the middle of May started Cleveland. He lasted just 2 2/3, and it hasn't been very good since. Popped up, retreating in the outfield grass. It's Polanco, and Buxton calls him off to make the catch. 1 away. 1 away in the bottom of the first. Let's go to Kevin Gore.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's time for our car soup scoop from the clubhouse. Start with Brian Dozier. He said it was nice to get a little mental break. A game off is different than a day off when it's during a doubleheader, but it felt good to recharge the battery. He's looking forward to having a good homestand before the All-Star break. And, of course, the big story last night was Felix Jorge. I asked Paul Molitor about that. He said, yeah, he's back to Double-A. When we get back on this homestand, the plan is for Derek Falvey and Thad Levine and myself to sit down and take a look at everybody, including the pitcher that opened so many eyes, to think of what might the plan be down the road. I wouldn't be surprised from talking to Paul Molitor if we get to see that youngster again. He was so impressive last night.
Thank you, Kevin. Ball 1 to Jorge Bonifacio.
Well, what really made him stand out is his poise for a young kid. And I guess it's not overly young, 22, 23 years old. Kind of the everyday thing.
Bauer tracking this foul pop and comes up about 2 steps short.
There's a little bit of Felix Jorge last night. Very poised young man. Didn't get rattled too much. Was able to locate his fastball well. Threw a lot of good off-speed pitches. That's really his third pitch, but his breaking ball was sharp. He helped himself with a nice fielding play here, turning the double play to Sano. So overall, I think they were very pleased with his effort, and his team responded with a bunch of runs and got his first big league win. And that's always a good feeling, I bet.
1-1 to Bonifacio. That's to left. And retreating to the corner is Rosario, 2 away. Talked about his poise and then the confidence that he had in his off-speed pitches, throwing more and more of them. It seemed like with every trip through the order, more change-ups and breaking balls the second time, and then even more the third time.
Yeah, he took a little off his breaking ball, which is always nice. He was able to change eye levels with his fastball. And like you said, he gained confidence. And I think sometimes you have to pitch backwards. When a team starts being aggressive, like the Royals have been lately, you know, sometimes slower is better.
2 outs. Here's Hosmer. Strike. So far, so good for Santiago. 10 pitches. He's got a couple outs. He'd like to average 13 to 15 pitches per inning rather than 23 to 25. Check swing and a strike. 0-2.
Well, he's 3-3 career against the Royals with the ERA under 4. He's made 11 starts, and so he's familiar with this lineup.
Pitched against the Royals, second game of the season. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Picked up the win on his opening day. 1-2.
At least showing the breaking ball. I think that's something that's very important for him. He gets into certain ruts where he doesn't even throw a breaking ball because he doesn't have confidence in throwing it for strike. Well, keep it away and throw it anyway. It gives a hitter something else to think about.
To left field and down for a hit. Hosmer, the first left-handed batter, gets the first Kansas City hit.
That's pretty good hitting right there. Not a lot he can do. He went down, got it, hooked it around the left field line there.
Salvador Perez will bat next.
Here's the pitch. Ball's down the zone. And Haas just kind of barrels it up. He's kind of running out of the box. You don't see him run out of the box, but he does hit it to left field a lot. You can see by the numbers, 43 of his hits to left field, more than any other part of the ballpark.
Second coming of Joe Mauer. Here's Salvador Perez with 2 outs and a man aboard. Breaking ball for a strike. One of the things Santiago needs to do, and there might be some larger issues, but he needs to do a better job of holding runners. He's given up 7 stolen bases in 9 tries, and both numbers are high. Both the success rate, the 7 successful steals, but 9 times teams have tried to steal second on him.
Well, and I attribute that to he's not a typical left-hander in the fact that he doesn't really pause that much. Once he comes straight, he wants to go to his windup. Here's some of the numbers Sal Perez has had against the Twins this season, and those are impressive numbers. He's the Miguel Sano for the Royals against the Twins.
Santiago gets ahead of Perez, 0-2 with Hosmer at first and 2 down. Pop-up foul and out of play.
For whatever reason, the Twins have been very reluctant to throw Salvador Perez inside. Everything's been away, and he's been diving out there and still hooking it. And again, I think once in a while you got to move a guy's feet. Santiago doesn't have that dynamic fastball anymore, doesn't really have a strikeout pitch per se, so it would behoove him to move Perez's feet here and then maybe open up that outside part of the plate.
Bouncer to third. Escobar. Short throw to second. That ends the inning. A good first inning for Hector Santiago. And Miguel Sano will lead off the second for the Twins. Sano will be on the American League All-Star team. I think it's assumed that he will, whether he's voted in or not. But look what he's done in the first half and how instrumental he's been in the Twins' wins.
Well, the Twins really do play better when he's swinging the bat well. They win a lot more games, and when he's not swinging well, they lose a lot. So you really could brand this team as Sano's team, and as he goes, the Twins go.
Certainly the case yesterday. His big 3-run home run leading the Twins to a win. He'll lead off the second. Pulled foul.
Well, if you're an opposing pitcher, especially a Royals pitcher, this is the situation you want to be in when Miguel comes up. Nobody on base. You know, you've got the luxury then of pitching around him if you need to.
Inside 1-1. Sano's hitting .268. He's hitting .268 against righties and .268 against lefties. 1-1. Made his major league debut here in Kansas City 2 years ago. Pop fly in a short right, and he's down for a hit.
That is a thing of beauty right there.
It went 500 feet last night. That one went about 125 feet. First Twins hit. Sano's aboard, and he was able to get that base hit because of the infield shift.
Yeah, totally got in his kitchen, broke his bat, and Sano just jogs down to first base because Merrifield couldn't get to it. Moss didn't even make an effort. He's got to get back to first. Twins got their leadoff man aboard.
And Escobar will bat. Escobar hitting .314 against left-handed pitching. Playing third base today with Sano, the DH. Fastball and a strike.
According to my stats here, Escobar has not had a plate appearance against Travis Wood yet.
Strike two. Most of Wood's major league experience with the Cubs. Kind of surprising that, given the production they've gotten from him, they signed him to a 2-year deal. Broke in with the Reds in 2010 and parts of 5 years with the Cubs. Pitched out of the bullpen for them last year. Checked his swing, and it's 1-2. Wood pitched in 3 games, but pitched a total of an inning and 2/3 in the World Series against the Indians last year. To the right field corner, and a foul ball by about 2 feet. Kevin Gorg's got the big story in baseball today.
Yeah, the big story last night takes us to Houston. What a major league debut for Clint Frazier of the Yankees after an earlier double. His first major league home run. The first Yankee in 100 years with a home run and a double in his debut. What a scene there, too. His mom crying. Very excited to be in attendance to watch her son have that great debut, but it was Yankees fans who were crying late. The team blew a 6-3 lead. Houston with 4 in the 8th to win it, guys, 7-6.
Yeah, the Astros did to the Yankees what they did to the Twins at Target Field a few weeks ago. What a team the Astros have. 55 wins, 27 losses. And they are even better than the Dodgers in the National League in terms of a win percentage. 2-2 to Escobar.
Yeah, you just sense that they have postseason in mind this year. Everything they're doing is doing well. Pitching, defense, hitting. Twins will face them right out of the All-Star break.
Going to Houston for their only visit there. And another one flared foul over the camera well. 2-2. Twins trying to score first. That hasn't worked out real well for them lately. They had a 3-game losing streak from Boston into Kansas City. And in all 3 games, they scored first. And then yesterday, they let the Royals score first, and they came back and won the game handily. 2-2. Foul.
We talk so much about this Royals team and how difficult it is to strike them out. How they seem to foul ball after foul ball and keep battling in at-bats until they put it in fair territory. And I think that's really a sign of a good team. It's hard. There's times you need strikeouts, and you don't want to depend on your defense all the time. And when you need strikeouts and you're facing a team that doesn't strike out, it makes it very difficult.
Especially under these circumstances. Wood maybe 4 innings at best. And if you can run the pitch count up by fouling a lot of pitches off, you might get a more abbreviated start. This one poked down the left field line. Great at bat for Escobar. And Sano will round second on his way to third, and he is out. Sano standing on the bag as if he believes he's safe.
Yeah, I don't think he has a prayer here on this one. Solar comes up, and Sano basically understands that he's not been the best defensive outfielder, but he makes a perfect throw to third baseman Ramon Torres. Here it is right here. And Torres gets the ball plenty of time, gets the tag down.
Ooh, I don't know.
He might have got the hand in first. Throw beat him.
And Sano being summoned to the dugout. No challenge. So ultimately a base running mistake by Sano, making the first out at third base. Trying to run on Soler last night. Gene Glynn sent Vargas around third on Soler, who threw wildly up the line. That time a pretty good throw to get the out. And again, if the original call had been safe, Sano pretty convinced that he got in there.
But
Polanco chops it foul.
We talked about Eddie Rosario a few games ago trying to steal third base with nobody out, gets thrown out at third. It's just one of those unwritten rules in baseball that you just don't make the first out at third base. You can take your team right out of an inning with a scoring opportunity.
Polanco lifts it high and deep and very foul. 2 strikes. Twins 41 and 39. They're in a group of 7 teams. You can throw a batting helmet over 7 of them. They're within 3 games of the 500 mark. Tampa Bay and Baltimore in the East. Twins and Kansas City in the Central. And the Angels, Rangers, and Mariners in the West. Strike 3. Polanco called out on strikes. 2 down, and now Rosario. Hey, Rosario with 5 singles in the game last night, helping the Twins pick up a win.
Yeah, he had the magic wand working last night. 4 of the 5 hits were hit fairly hard. He ends up getting a little blooper there at the end, but yeah, big night for Eddie Rosario, and his batting average really soared because of it.
Start today at .291. Outside, ball 1. This will be pitch number 33 for Travis Wood. Told you about how tough he is on lefties. He's retired Mauer. Now facing Rosario. Castro hitting 9th. 1-1. Royals got some tough news today. Matt Strahm, a Fargo native, ended up tearing his patellar tendon in his left knee yesterday. Going to get a second opinion, hoping to avoid surgery. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
I don't get that. What do you need a second opinion for? If it's torn, it's torn.
In terms of how
the 2 guys tell you it's torn? Is that the whole idea?
Something that serious. You want to make sure that the initial diagnosis is confirmed.
I could see in the second opinion how you're going to go about repairing it.
Rosario fouls it back. At any rate, Strahm, of course, was an effective reliever for the Royals last year and had some kind of blew hot and cold for the Royals earlier. They moved into the rotation, then back to the bullpen yesterday. He was supposed to start, originally slated to start this game today.
And I thought he pitched fairly well considering he had a sore knee, and all of a sudden manager and the trainer come out to the mound. Nobody really knew what was going on. He walks off the mound and we find out he has a bum knee.
1-2. That's to left center field. And Soler with a running catch. Finally retiring Rosario, who nearly delivered an RBI extra base hit.
Tries to get back to that good form he showed in those first 7 starts this season. What a dramatic difference in those next 7. I talked to Neil Allen, the pitching coach. He said he's been trying to do too much. He got after that great start, then he tried to really do a little bit too many things with that ball, try to be too perfect. And he said once he started to struggle, it snowballed because he kept trying to force it, guys. He's at his best when he gets strike 1, and then he can change the eye level as he can move things around after that strike 1. But when he gets behind, it's a real problem. That's what Neil Allen's watching for today. More efficiency on the mound from Hector Santiago.
Falling behind 2-0 here. He's 3 for 5 in terms of delivering first pitch strikes so far this afternoon. There's a strike, 2-1.
Now, Kev's absolutely right, and I know Neil knows this. Heck, for that matter, Hector knows it. He's got to pitch ahead and stay down in the zone. It's pretty simple for him.
High fly, center field. Buxton back for the catch, 1 away. 3 fly ball outs so far for Santiago. Think you can beat the Twins mascot TC in a home run contest? Well, register at GoMN.com now through August 31st for your chance to win 4 tickets to a Saturday home game, a Twins jersey and a spot in the pregame home run contest, courtesy of Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Minnesota Twins. Speaking of someone who's tried to do that, let me tell you, if you're lucky enough to do it, just bring cash and pay off the pitcher before the contest. It works every time. Strike 1 to Ramon Torres. Mike Moustakas 1 for 17 against Santiago, so Torres gets a chance to play third base.
Yeah, Moustakas played in all 3 of the first 3 games, doubleheader yesterday, so Ned Yost giving him the day off.
It's amazing the splits that Santiago's had, right-handed, left-handed. He's been very effective against right-handers, but he's having a terrible time getting left-handed batters out. That's to left center field. Plenty of airtime again for Buxton. 2 down.
Well, I have a theory on that.
Okay.
My theory is that he's eliminated a pitch to left-handers. He does not throw his changeup, and he has a tougher time locating his breaking balls. He'll throw the breaking ball to right-handers, and if he misses, he's not too worried about it, but he has a tough time with lefties.
Have you ever seen anything like that in your life?
Not really. I mean, that's the opposite the way it should be.
So Moss, the first baseman, in the lineup in part because Ned Yost has the numbers too. Moustakas the only lefty not playing for the Royals. Down and in ball 1. That was a fastball. Only only man to get a hit against Santiago today. The left-hand hitting Hosmer flipped foul over the Twins dugout, 1-1. Moss had a good day yesterday in both games of the doubleheader. A long home run that was dwarfed by Sano's later on in the game, or later on in the doubleheader. Chasing a high fastball. We saw Santiago in Boston, albeit briefly, but we saw him touch 92, 93 miles per hour. I haven't seen that yet today. Last two fastballs to Moss going 88. And then an off-speed pitch strikes him out. Good inning for Santiago. He's off to a good start here against the hot-hitting Royals.
Just what his pitching coach wants. He's been very efficient throwing strikes early.
Presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino. The best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Third inning, no score. Kind of a steamy day here in Kansas City. Typical for this time of the year. Temps in the upper 80s. Byron Buxton will lead off the third, then Jason Castro and Brian Dozier facing Travis Wood. Twins started the second inning with a pair of hits, but Sano was thrown out at third base, and that stifled what could have been a rally. Buxton on the ground. And the throw pulled him off the bag. Escobar with a high throw to Moss, and Buxton's aboard to start the third.
Well, another error committed by the Kansas City Royals there. A throwing error will be charged to the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. And that's the kind of thing that Byron Buxton creates. He creates panic because you got to hurry everything up. All he has to do is make contact, put the ball on the ground, and run.
33rd error for the Royals, best in the league. 38 errors for the Twins, second best. And now Jason Castro will hit with Buxton's speed aboard. We'll see what kind of scouting report the Twins have on Wood and his ability to hold runners. And Buxton dives back.
.37 pitches so far for Wood. Got the number 9 hitter. And as long as Buxton doesn't score, and he hasn't really had a lot of stress. A couple of hits in the last inning, but Sano took himself out of the inning with a base running blunder.
Breaking ball and a swinging strike one.
Think he's going.
Buxton obviously has not been on base enough, but when he's been there, he has been a very potent base stealing threat. He's 14 for 15.
Well, and he's really taken a lot of focus on his base stealing.
Low throw dug out by Moss.
Paul Molitor has personally gone out early with Byron several times and worked on his leads and his first step and knowing when to get the jump, what to look for from pitchers from both sides, right-handers and left-handers.
He's reached on an error here, but in its own way, a lesson to Byron about how important it is for him to put the ball in play. Routine ground ball to short. Escobar hurried his throw, and now, at the very least, diverting Wood's attention toward him and away from the hitter Castro.
Well, that's just it. The more you throw to first base, the more likely that you won't have the concentration necessary to deliver the next pitch.
Big leg kick, and Castro takes up high. Indians have knocked out Justin Verlander in the 4th inning, leading Detroit 7-1. It's the first start for Verlander in more than 10 years where he didn't strike anybody out. Amazing.
That's a long time.
Dribbled up the line, and Wood fires on target. Castro retired, but it does succeed in getting Buxton into scoring position. 1 away. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. Now Dozier, and a hit to the outfield should put the Twins in the lead. Dozier hit one near the warning track in left, his first time up. Last team to face Verlander in a start where he didn't strike anybody out was the Twins back in April of 07.
Wow, it's a long time. Well, Justin got roughed up in his previous start against the Royals, but he came back and ended up winning the game. But Cleveland on a roll here today, and the Twins are going to have to follow suit in order to stay 2 behind them. Got a chance right here with Dozier up.
Ball 1.
I don't know if it's any coincidence or not, but the guy that's leading the Royals in average is their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, hitting .305. And we just showed how many of his hits are the opposite field.
Right.
Something that Joe Mauer, who is a guy who gets a lot of hits, does. And right now, Brian Dozier could do the same thing with one of the fastest guys in baseball at second base. Seems like there's a lot of room to the right side. Whit Merrifield playing kind of behind Buxton at second base. And Brandon Moss, today's first baseman, shaded off the line. So there's a lot of room on the right side.
Grounded to third, and Buxton bluffed toward third. High throw, and Dozier's tagged out. This time it was Torres with a wild throw, and Moss to make a nice catch to turn it into an out. Woo.
Yeah, that's 2 throws that Brandon Moss had to jump for and try to tag the runner. He's thinking, what the heck's going on over here? I don't get to play first base that much. Hit me in the chest.
2 down, and now Grossman called out on strikes, his first time up. A drive to left. Soler is back and makes the catch on the warning track. Second inning in a row where Jorge Soler has covered some ground to take an extra base hit away and a run away from the Twins.
Yeah, it looked like this ball was going to carry, and it didn't again.
presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by State Farm, here to help life go right with the home and auto protection you deserve. No score going to the bottom of the third. Twins have had some base runners on and have threatened to score, but nothing yet. And LCD's Escobar will lead things off against Hector Santiago, who is throwing strikes.
He's getting ahead. He's been fairly efficient. Not a lot of deep counts. Everything you want in him early in a ball game.
Strike percentage of over 75 so far in the ball game. 1-1.
If I notice any subtle difference, what I'm seeing from Hector is he's being a little more deliberate. He's not as herky-jerky and is not as quick to the plate. He's just taking his time a little bit more today.
Lazy fly to right field. Coming in is Grossman for the catch. One away. One down in the third. Let's see what's on Kevin Gorig's mind.
Yeah, the Royal Power guys. Kansas City is crushing the baseball right now. 98 home runs before the All-Star break. Their previous best as a franchise was back in the 80s, which was 95. I talked to Neil Allen about this. He said last night you saw exactly what needs to get done. He said it's funny that I'm referencing a double-A kid, but the way Jorge went after those hitters after that first inning, getting strike one, changing the eye level, keeping them off balance, not letting them get comfortable in the box. He said, this is a great hitting team, but every team, including the Royals, is better when they're up 2-1, 3-1 in the count, and they can sit back, dig in, and just swing for the fences. And we all know when it gets to be this warm and humid, the ball really carries. We've seen that here all weekend in Kansas City.
There's a strike on the outside corner to Alex Gordon. Thank you, Kevin. So far, the longest at bat that Santiago has had is the very first at bat. Went 6 pitches.
Well, it's a little warm temperatures in the heartland, and it's baseball, hot dogs, and sticky buns.
Gordon hit by a pitch, and he'll go to first. The ball ended up against the backstop, up high on the screen. Just the second Kansas City base runner. Three left-handed batters in the Kansas City lineup, and they're 1 for 2 with a hit batter. Now Whit Merrifield. Merrifield ended up hitting a fly ball to Buxton. 5 fly ball outs, first time through the order. A strikeout and 1 ground ball out. Outside, ball 1.
Very deliberate today for Hector. He's not rushing his lower half. He's taking his time. So far, so good, although he did hit Alex Gordon there for the 1 base runner.
Gordon can still steal a base. That's hit to the gap, and that's trouble. Gordon round second. The ball going to the wall. It'll score a run. Merrifield, very impressive new wave of Kansas City hitters. He's got an extra base hit, and the Royals have the game's first run.
You just mentioned the speed that Gordon has, and he got a good jump. Reacted to this well. You see the ball middle half, right over the middle part of the plate, down in the zone, and Whit Merrifield finds the gap in left center. Once that ball is on its way, you almost sensed Gordon was going to score. The question really was going to be whether Merrifield was going to try for 3 or not.
Here's Bonifacio. Hit a fly ball to left, his first time up. And to third base. And Castro can't get a handle on the ball. So now base stealers 8 for 10 with Santiago on the mound.
And again, this is just a mental lapse of not checking the runner. You got to take multi-looks and kind of upset their timing. He gets a great jump, one of those walking leads. Castro's going to have to hurry and just never finds the handle.
The Twins are going to bring the infield in here. The count 1-0 to Bonifacio. Nobody out, excuse me, 1 out. And the Royals leading 1-0. Fouled back, 1-1. We've not seen the velocity we saw in Boston. Granted, it was just a couple innings, but we saw a couple of 92s and a 93. He hasn't hit 90 yet, and that was one of the issues in the middle of May when things started to go south for Santiago.
I don't think he's trying to throw 90. He doesn't look like he's humping it up and trying to reach back and get that extra. I think he's just trying to find the strike zone today and hit his target a little bit better. He's taking a little off. It is overall velocity just to make sure that he's able to not make the mistakes over the middle.
1-2 to Bonifacio.
But he needs a little more depth in his change of pitches. And the changeup now to a right-hander, that 70 mile an hour, 72 mile an hour changeup might be effective.
Another foul back. One and two. Santiago has one strikeout. He struck out Moss swinging to end the second inning. Use a strikeout or a pop-up here. 2-2. Amazing how the Twins starting rotation has changed since the first weeks of the season.
Does every year, doesn't it?
But only the top man, Irvin Santana, has taken the ball every 5 days or when his turn has come up.
Yep.
2-2.
And you wouldn't believe they'd be in first place with knowing that.
Nice pickup by Escobar behind the bag, and Mauer gets down into a catcher's crouch to get Escobar's throw. 2 down, and Merrifield still at third.
There's another example that we kind of take for granted of Joe Mauer, but helping out Eduardo Escobar on the other end. Escobar kind of getting tangled up with Merrifield over there at third base, throws one in the dirt. You see him going to his right here, and he's got to throw it over the top of Merrifield. He throws it low, but Joe very confident, and he picks it there and gets an out. And that's a big out because now the infield can play back, and fly ball to the outfield won't score the runner from third.
Slow breaking ball fouled away, and Santiago going from the windup there, and Merrifield's got a big lead at third base, and we've seen him run well. Wouldn't be surprised to see Santiago go from the stretch here now.
Well, Escobar's way off the line. That's one of the reasons he's going to get a lead, but all he has to do is look over there once in a while. He can still step off with his rubber foot.
To right, nobody there. And Hosmer pulls a double to right to make it 2-0 Kansas City. Grossman was swung way over in the right center field gap. And Hosmer's 2 for 2 against Santiago, and the Royals lead by a pair.
Well, this ball is just hung up there over the heart of the plate. And Hosmer, who typically goes to the left field, you can see the defensive positioning there. Robbie Grossman swung way over to right center, and this ball's basically hit at where a normal right fielder would play.
It's the kind of shift a lot of teams, including the Royals, employ for Joe Mauer. But Hosmer was able to pull it for an RBI double, and now here's Perez. Base hit, left center field. Hosmer around third. He'll score, and it's 3-0. And the Royals again deliver some big 2-out hits to jump on Santiago.
Well, and it's the guys that we highlighted that are doing the damage. Eric Hosmer, now this time Sal Perez, another pitch center of the plate, down in the zone, and boy, does he like that pitch or not. He's gotten about 6 hits against the Twins this year on balls middle half down, or down and away and down and over the middle.
Last 2 hits have come on the at-bat's first pitch. Here is Jorge Soler. He takes a strike. Soler with a fly to center his first time up. Inside. Well, Twins saw 2 innings of Santiago at Fenway, and he then had his start aborted because of the rain. Corner, but foul. The silver lining was they saw velocity they hadn't seen since early May, but that's not there today. And
well, there's times in day games I think can affect it. The temperature can affect that. You had a nice, cool evening, beautiful evening to pitch in Boston, and before the rain came anyway. And today a very warm, steamy day down here in KC.
Trouble this inning started when he hit Gordon.
That time he looked like he tried to air it out a little, and he still only hit 90 miles an hour up in the zone.
Well, fans
got to be dedicated to the game to sit in the sun on these warm days.
Missing inside. It's 3-2.
Not many guys who pitch the way Jason Vargas pitches and can have that kind of success. Just a lot of off-speed stuff and being able to pick the plate apart.
Changeup got him. That ends the third, but the Royals get 3 hits, a couple of big ones with 2 outs to open up 3-0 lead. You're watching Twins baseball, presented by State Farm. That was the play of the week. Kevin Gore getting out of the Gatorade shower.
Still got the moves.
Yeah. Well, the Twins down 3-0 now. The 4th inning. Bauer, Sano, and Escobar will try to get something started against Travis Wood. That, I guess, hasn't been an issue. They've gotten things started. They just haven't been able to finish anything off. Bauer takes outside, ball 1.
Well, it's been a few years since Travis Wood has had to navigate through the lineup for the 2nd time. And that's the case here with Joe Mauer leading off.
Approaching 50 pitches. And there's a strike, 1-1.
But he does have 3 runs to work with now, and we'll see how he reacts to that.
Strike 2. Thought it was up and or away. with a couple of hits. They came consecutively to open the second inning, but Sano was out trying to go to third base. Wood got the next two men, and the threat was over. To the left field corner, foul. Chopper, right side. Merrifield flips in time to get Bauer one away. That'll bring up Miguel Sano, who hit about 950 feet worth of home runs yesterday.
Well, the first one went into this fountain, almost straightaway center, just to the left of straightaway center, and then the next one, nobody could register. It was between Jupiter and Mars, way up there, the original light beer fountain bar area. Like we've talked about here for a while, we don't even know how far that ball was, but a lot of the Royals fans say they've never seen one hit up in that area.
There ought to be a way to replicate the ball, where it landed, the launch angle, velocity. I mean, all that stuff that's unavailable, but you ought to be able to. All right, it's home plate, and it ended up over there, and how 2.4 seconds, whatever, it had this kind of arc on it.
All those numbers that don't matter because it was a 3-run bomb. We can tell you that, and that's all that matters. But yeah, there's a lot of people interested. I mean, we live in a day and age where, you know, we have the technology, and people are intrigued by, did he really hit one that far? And Miguel Sano is one of the game's big boppers, and that's why he will be in the home run derby contest in Miami.
But you know what, Jack? It's always been that way. Mickey Mantle hit one, they said, over the roof at Yankee Stadium off of Pedro Ramos. Harmon Killebrew hit two of them, one into the upper deck at Met Stadium the next day off the facing of the second deck. Swing and a miss, 2-2. We've been fascinated with power and distance when it comes to home runs.
Well, my brother still holds the record, the farthest home run I've ever seen given up. And I've seen him over stadiums. I saw him in the Comiskey out of the left field. I saw, you know, out of right field, Tiger Stadium, left field.
To left, a liner sinking in front of Bonifacio.
My brother, Tom Morris, gave up a home run in Laramie, Wyoming, wind assisted, that I know went 600 feet.
Join us Thursday, July 20th for the 1987 Summer Celebration at Target Field. Enjoy an evening on the field with members of the 1987 Twins, including Bert Blyleven, Frank Viola, Tim Laudner, Kent Herbeck, Roy Smalley, Dan Gladden, Tom Kelly, and more. The evening will feature interactive games, silent auction, program dinner, and more. To learn more and get your tickets today, visit twinsbaseball.com/summer celebration. Here's Escobar with Sano aboard.
Yep, Sano gets his second hit of the game.
Toward the hole and knocked down by Escobar, and the Twins have a good start to this inning now with runners at first and second and one down, and Polanco to the plate. I've told the story before. The longest home run I've ever seen, even longer than the one I saw yesterday from Sano, Rodney Bobick hit it against me in a town team game in Bolus. It had to have gone 40 rows back into a cornfield they had in left field in Bolus, and in some strange way I still revisit that home run every time I see Field of Dreams. When the players come out of the corn, I saw a baseball go way back into the corn. First and second, one down, and now Polanco is called out on strikes his first time up.
You know, that's you're bringing me back to my youth a little bit, but my first recollection of Major League Baseball was going to the old Met and watching guys, and it wasn't about the home runs. It was how high some of the pop-ups were.
Yeah.
Something different than we've ever seen as kids. You go to a Major League park, and these guys are hitting the ball up to the top of the light towers.
I had that same experience. I saw Bob Allison hit a big pop-up my first game I ever saw at Metropolitan Stadium. I was just in awe that a human being could hit the ball that high in the air. 1-0 to Polanco. Twins trying to respond with at least one here in the fourth, and now down and in. Tarp still on the bullpen mound for the Royals, but you gotta believe that Travis Wood is approaching the end of his day here. It's just been basically an inning and a fraction pitcher for the Royals, pitching out of their bullpen. Strike call, 2-1.
Well, I'm sure pitching coach Dave Island and manager Ned Yost have had conversation here with Travis Wood before the game, and they're going to trust their veteran to let them know where he's at. How you feeling? You know, are you getting tired? And as long as the velocity is there, they'd like to get him through 5, I believe. You know,
2-2.
And they salvage him today, give him a few days off. So be it. But they've got to try to preserve that pen, which has been used quite a bit in this series so far.
Twins need a pick-me-up here after seeing the Royals get 3 runs, 2 of them on 2-out hits in the bottom of the 3rd. Popped up right side, chased by Merrifield. Bonifacio coming in. Infield fly rule is called with the outfielder making the catch again. We saw that the other night here too, with the outfielder establishing position under a pop-up, not an infielder, and the infield fly rule still called. 2 down. And now Eddie Rosario.
Eddie hit the ball hard his first time up, but Soler made a nice catch in left field. He found the hole 5 times last night with base hits.
Need to get something out of this here. Sano and Escobar with hits. Now Rosario takes outside. He's had a threat in the 2nd, had a threat in the 3rd, and now again here in the 4th. Kick off to 2nd, and Sano gets back. While Rosario's hit for a good average against lefties, 290s, it's been a very unproductive. And now Perez and the home plate umpire have a chat. Did the umpire? No, there was no umpire interference.
I think the conversation was about the pitch.
2-0. Rosario 69 at bats, now 70 at bats against left-handed pitching, and he's driven in 1 run. Now a strike, 2-1. Yeah, he's hit 290 against them. He's got 5 doubles, a triple, no home runs, but incredibly just 1 run batted in against a lefty. Two and 1. 3-1. Buxton on deck. Rosario, of course, not the easiest guy in the world to walk. Chopped off the plate, breaking ball. Rosario with 245 at bats and 14 walks.
Well, I think a hitter and what he does with runners in scoring position is a lot like pitcher and what he does with runners on base. You know, when the game's on the line and you need to make an out, can you do it? And when the game's on the line and you're at the plate with a runner in scoring position, can you deliver?
And Rosario strikes out. Runners were going, of course, and the Twins leave 2 aboard in the 4th.
Gordon on first base, and then Whit Merrifield delivers a double that scores Gordon. Hosmer first pitch pulls the ball, nobody out there. He gets a double that scores Merrifield, and then of course Sal Perez gets a base hit RBI single, scoring Eric Hosmer 3-zip right now.
Torres, Moss, and Escobar to face Santiago in the fourth. Ball one and now ball two. Santiago hasn't walked anybody. He has hit one man, and his strike percentage has been fine. 35 strikes, 18 balls. But now a 4-pitch walk to start the fourth inning. We'll bring up Moss.
And it's almost night and day difference. It just seemed like that at bat. I don't know if it's focus, I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden he starts misfiring, and that was obviously different than everything he's done up to this point.
Neil Allen to the mound.
And maybe Neil saw something to remind him, you know, whether he was lower half rushing a little bit, or I don't know what it is. But Neil and Hector have really worked a lot here for a couple of weeks. There's some activity already now in the Twins pen.
Target Field's a great place to spend time with the people who are important to you. Groups of 25 or more are eligible for discounts on tickets, and per ticket fees are eliminated. Arrange your group of 25 plus today by calling twinsbaseball.com, visiting twinsbaseball.com/groups, or calling 833-TWINS and ask about a group outing. Here's Brandon Moss and a check of Torres at first. Santiago got through the first time through the batting order just fine. And then Merrifield drilled a double. Hosmer hooked a double. Perez lined a single. And now a leadoff walk here in the fourth. And ultimately, Twins are hoping that Santiago can be reliable to give them 5-6 innings every time out. But to do that, you've got to be able to get through the lineup a second and third time.
Well, and it seems like with Hector, it can go south in a hurry. You know, those 3 runs scored, it seemed like in a blink of the eye.
A couple of first pitch ambushes. Hosmer and Perez. One strike to Moss. Swing and a foul. Getting the mask of Castro.
And they're going to give Jason a little time just to clear the cobwebs there. That was kind of a hanger. He might have got away with one on that last pitch. See the breaking ball left up, and that is, oh, that scares me every time I see that. That reminds me of so many hanging sliders I gave up. They didn't miss him. How come he can get away with them? They never missed one when I did that.
2 strikes. And here I thought you were going to strike a sympathetic chord for Lance Parrish and all the catchers who had foul balls off their mask.
Well, they had a mask on. They wanted to catch. Nobody asked them. Nobody made them catch. They could have been pitchers. They like catching.
1 and 2.
Takes a different breed, though. They got to be tough. Boy, we've seen it over the years, haven't we? Catchers just getting beat up.
Phil Hughes getting loose. And taking off on the pitch is the runner Torres, and Buxton back on the warning track to make the catch. Torres retouches second and scampers back to first, 1 down. That'll bring up Escobar.
Brandon Moss hit it a long way, but Byron Buxton able to get underneath it, record the first out.
Escobar hit a fly ball to right. Here comes Paul Molitor. He's got Phil Hughes warmed up, and I think that's going to be the end of the day for Hector Santiago.
Kind of a short leash for Hector.
Be curious how his start here today is assessed, and I think one of the concerns will be the lack of velocity again. What, one fastball that touched 90. Santiago out, and Hughes will come in. Hector Santiago was the day 2 starter. Phil Hughes was the day 3 starter. That's how much things have changed. Santiago relieved here in the 4th by Hughes, who has now become a relief pitcher once again.
Yeah, it's his 2nd relief appearance. He pitched in Boston, and we'll see if he's going to be asked to stretch it out a little bit. Meanwhile, Hector Santiago threw 58 pitches, 38 strikes, and only 10 of 16 first pitch strikes.
Escobar, the batter, facing Hughes. 2nd relief outing for Hughes. 2nd time he's come into the middle of an inning. Did fine at Fenway Park. There goes the runner on the pitch. Line foul over the Kansas City dugout. Just over the netting and into the seating area.
Oh, a couple things that Paul Molitor appreciated about Phil Hughes his last time out. First of all, how quickly he was ready to come into a game. They wanted him to come in to start an inning because he would have plenty of time as a former starter to get loose, but he was asked to come in the middle of an inning just like today, and he got ready, and then his ability to throw pitches in the strike zone like Phil has always done. He thought he was aggressive inside the zone.
1 strike to Escobar. Torres took off on Hughes' first pitch, and so Hughes checks him before pitch number 2. Right center. Buxton gets the first hop. Torres rounding 3rd. Dozier's throw to the plate, not in time, and the Royals lead it 4-0. Escobar ripping a 90-mile-per-hour fastball for an RBI double.
Yeah, so that'll close the book for Hector. All 4 runs will be charged to Hector Santiago. Every one of them are earned runs. See this fastball left out over the plate. Man, right now I don't know if there's that many pitches that are going to trick these Kansas City Royals hitters. They're being aggressive and not missing the pitches that they can handle.
The best pitching job, oddly, by Jorge last night, who had about a 22-mile-per-hour spread on his pitches, and he seemed to be able to throw everything for strikes, and that bottled up the Royal lineup to some degree. Hosmer hit the opposite field home run on a pitch that wasn't a strike. 1 strike now to Gordon. To right. both our scores, and it's 5-0. Two key guys for the Twins at the start of the year, and certainly their hopes of staying in contention will rely to some degree on Santiago and Hughes, and they're both getting hit hard here by the Royals.
Again, watch this pitch. Center cut, 91. That doesn't work in high school. Can't really expect it to work here at the big league level. You got to make better pitches, and even though Alex Gordon has really struggled this year, the Twins seem to have gotten him heated up here in this series.
4 pitches, 2 of them hammered for hits. First run charged to Santiago. Second run this inning charged to Hughes. 1 out, and now a breaking ball down and away. Asked Paul Molitor today about the way Molitor used the bullpen yesterday, and asking for Matt Belisle to get some big outs with the Twins in front in the nightcap last night, and he didn't directly mention what we've seen here. There's one to the right field corner, chased by Grossman. Robbie Grossman can't hang on. Gordon round second. He'll go to third. And Grossman got a leather on it, but it bounced out, and it'll be a double for Merrifield, his second double in as many innings. But this is what Paul referenced, the fact that he really can't afford to trust Phil Hughes yet after one relief outing to be pitching with men on base late in the game with the Twins leading. He doesn't know what he's got yet in Phil Hughes as a relief pitcher, and if this outing by Hughes had been transposed to the late innings of the ball game last night, it would have been disastrous.
Similarities between Santiago and Hughes is velocity. Phil was at his best as a starter a couple years ago, throwing 95 with a cutter and pinpoint control, and now that same fastball's in the low 90s, and the cutter has kind of disappeared, although that was one, I think, right there.
92 on the speed gun. One strike to Bonifacio.
Phil's never been a guy to pitch down in the zone. He's got a very stiff delivery, never bends his back, so a lot of pitches are up with him, belt high or above. And yeah, he's kind of trying to reinvent himself here.
When you were 25, how hard do you think you threw?
Well, I probably threw somewhere between 92 and 94.
All right, and when you were 33, how hard did you throw?
Same.
Okay. But the game has changed. If you were as effective as you were throwing in the low 90s, 2 strikes.
I pitched inside. It's something you don't see anymore. It's a fastball that Bonifacio chases up. He records the second out.
And now Hosmer, who has 2 hits, 1 run batted in and a run scored. But we've talked about this before with Burton, I think with you too. When hitters are geared up, programmed to see 95 to 98, and then someone comes along throwing 89, 91, and an intentional walk will send Hosmer to first. 91 can't be as effective as it once was, because everybody throws hard, typically throws harder than anybody did during your career.
Yeah, there's reasons that there's a lot more swing and misses. Of course, guys are not worried about strikeouts anymore. Right. But I definitely think a generation ago, most pitchers threw inside way more. They moved feet. The hitters were less comfortable. A guy come out of his shoes, he was never going to get the same swing again.
And the intentional walk works as Hughes on an off-speed pitch gets Perez the ground out to end the inning. 5-0 Kansas City. Pepsi fans of the game, enjoying a beautiful summer afternoon at a beautiful ballpark. Unfortunately, the score not real good for the Twins right now. 5-0. Byron Buxton will lead off the 5th inning against Travis Wood.
I know those 4 kids. They were in a motorhome that I went in between games to go visit yesterday. Enjoying the tailgating between games here at Kauffman Stadium.
Wood trying to complete the 5th inning. Qualify perhaps for a win. Buxton takes inside 2-0. Buxton reached on a throwing error by Escobar, leading off the 3rd inning.
Twins needs base runners. They need to start putting the pressure back on, get back into this ball game. There's still plenty of game left.
And now Wood falls behind Buxton. A lot of crooked numbers hung up in this series. The Twins have done it too. They'll need to do it at least once here to get back in the game. A strike, and it's 3-1.
I'm sure they had the take sign on there for Byron. They need base runners.
And Buxton takes a walk. And that'll bring up Castro.
Still no activity down in the Royals pen. Now there's some stirring going on, but Ned Yost, not sure he expected his starter Travis Wood to go 5 innings, but he's got 5 runs to work with, so might have a leash long enough to try to finish this inning, get a win.
Castro get a little number between the mound and the 3rd baseline. Outside, ball 1. There isn't anything that'll get the bullpen fired up quicker than not throwing strikes with a 5-run lead. We saw that in the first game yesterday when Neftali Feliz, trying to protect a big lead in the 9th inning, was wild enough to put men on base, enough of them. So the Royals had to warm up Kelvin Herrera, their closer. Now he threw, what would you guess, 30 to 40 pitches in the bullpen. Now he never came into the ball game, but he had to fire things up here because if the Twins had gotten 1 more base runner, he was coming in. And then, even though they were trailing, the Royals brought Herrera in to pitch the last inning of the nightcap. And so we don't know whether Herrera would be able to answer the bell at the end of the game today or not, because he had to warm up twice yesterday and get into one of the games.
Well, I'm sure Ned Yost is hoping that he won't even have to use them. They've got 5 runs to work with, and they need this guy to throw strikes right here. Jason Castro aware of that.
Swinging away on 2-0.
Gets his pitch in a hitter's count right there and takes a rip at it. Scott Alexander.
What do you know? They're warming up a left-hander, Jack.
Yeah, they've got a pile of them. Mike Minor, Eric Skoglund, and Scott Alexander.
They put Strom on the disabled list.
Yeah.
Hoping to string a bunch of plate appearances together here to get back in the ball game. Grounded up the middle and a base hit. Buxton around second will gain 3rd base. Castro with a hit against the left-hander. Buxton held at 3rd, and the Twins have the start of something here in the 5th with the 8 and 9 batters getting aboard.
Well, they've got to hit an inning. That's the 5th hit for the Twins. Dave Island's going to come out now. He's dealing with a veteran that understands the situation. See this ball hit right up the middle. Gets by Merrifield.
I want to get back to something you were talking about regarding Phil Hughes and velocity and pitching inside. You said pitchers don't pitch inside anymore. Coincidentally, as Justin Verlander was knocked out in the 4th inning today by the Indians, Gary Sheffield offered his thoughts about what's different with Verlander. That's the first thing he mentioned, that Verlander isn't pitching inside like he used to earlier in his career.
You know, this is such an old school comment, and I know that there's a lot of people that say, yeah, right, you know, and they just sort of shrug their shoulders and roll their eyes. But if you allow a hitter to be comfortable, what's going to happen? he's going to have better swings. He's going to be more aggressive. He's going to take advantage of all your mistakes because he knows you're never coming in there to make him uncomfortable.
Inside to Dozier.
If there's doubt that you might, and you don't have to do it every at bat, you might only have to do it to 1 or 2 hitters, but they realize, hey, he did that to them, he might do it to me. So they're aware of that pitch inside. Move their feet, make them uncomfortable.
Strike 1 and 2.
Sometimes a ball is just as good as a strike. You can set up people by using your head. How many times have we seen guys waste pitch up and away? It's totally a wasted pitch. The hitter sees it, tracks it, and knows it's a ball.
And Dozier flicks it foul. Well, you were good at it. Bert was good at it. The best I saw, I didn't pay really close attention to it until I got into this business. And the best I saw do it was Dennis Martinez. Dennis Martinez pitched inside very effectively. And a base hit to right.
Brian.
Dozier rifling a single to right. The Twins are on the board. And Wood wobbling here as he tries to get some outs in the 5th.
Yeah, they should go down and hug him right now. That's a great at bat going the other way. Pitches up and away. Why would you try to pull it? He didn't try to. He hit it the other way. Hit it with authority. Good at bat.
And with 2 strikes, Dozier cracking a single to right and spelling the end for Travis Wood, who certainly gave the Royals everything they could have hoped for and more. 4 shutout innings, trouble here in the 5th, but he comes off the mound with the Royals leading 5-1.
Love the city, very secluded downtown.
I like Kansas. Barbecue, it's very good.
Kansas City, you have to go to a barbecue restaurant.
They have the Kona Grill, which I love.
Well, everybody seems to enjoy it coming to Kansas City. Twins used to really enjoy it because they would typically win 2 out of every 3 games here. But things have changed. Royals trying to win 3 out of 4 in this series. Yeah, Robbie Grossman will hit against the new Kansas City pitcher Scott Alexander.
Yeah, they just got to crawl back into keep battling, keep fighting. Paul Mahler proud of his team for doing that, not giving in, and now is their time.
Fouled off his foot, 1 strike. A couple of big at bats here as the Twins try to get back in the game.
Yeah, they lead off walk. It seems to always open the door for opportunity. That walk eventually comes in, Byron Buxton, and then 2 straight hits from Castro, and nice RBI single for Brian Dozier. Nobody out.
Grossman now, and then Mauer, and then Sano. And if the Twins can maybe get another run and keep some guys on the bases, Sano would have a chance to do what he has done so often against the Royals, and that is deliver a really big hit and drive in some runs. Lace to center, a base hit. Castro to third. He's being waved around, and the throw airmailed to the plate. And Perez talking with home plate umpire Mike Everett about something. Castro sliding in and I think sliding into Perez. At any rate, it's an RBI single at 5-2. And now Mauer to the plate representing the tying run.
Well, leadoff walk, 3 straight hits, 2 runs in, nobody out. And the wheel keeps turning.
Now Perez claiming that Castro didn't touch the base, but he slid completely across the plate, looked like. Here's Mauer. A couple of ground balls to second against Travis Wood, now facing Alexander. Nice response by the Twins with 2 so far. Strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
You know, it's funny, sometimes left-handed pitchers will throw Joe soft stuff and his bat seems to be kind of dragging through the zone because he likes to time it, send the ball to left field a lot, and then they come back with a little fastball away that he just seems to top and roll over to second base.
1-2.
It's almost like the league's trying to pitch him the way they did early in his career.
Mauer hitting .237 against left-handers coming into the game. No home runs, 7 runs batted in. Just off the outside edge, 2-2. Close pitch. Orioles still leading by 3. 2 men out there with nobody out. And Sano on deck. And fouled into the net above the Twins dugout. The big man waits. Flick foul.
Joe just battling along, trying to stay alive here. Nobody out.
Twins were shut down by Jason Hamill last night through 4 innings, and then they broke through with 4 runs in the 5th inning, hoping to do that again here today. And Mauer fights off another 2-strike pitch. Pitch of this at bat coming, 3 2-strike fouls by Mauer. Chopper. They get 1, but not 2. Moss with a pick at first to keep Dozier at third base. 1 down, and now Sano will come up with second base open and 1 out.
Well, Brandon Moss showing some leather again there, kind of saving a run.
3rd time today that Joe has tapped out to Merrifield, reaching this time on a fielder's choice. Sano is 2 for 2, dropping a couple of singles into left field.
Here's the pick, and then again throwing the ball in the dirt. Joe beats it out.
So sure, that was a pretty nice little play by Robbie Grossman, just kind of stutter stepping and standing up and then veering away. You can't run in to the base to the infielder anymore, and if you make him think a little bit about, well, is he going to go down or not, is he going to stand up, he just veered off at the last instant. 1-0 to Sano. 2-0. Escobar on deck. We'll see how aggressive they are here. 23 of his 58 runs batted in have come against the Royals. This is the 12th game of the year. Big chopper foul.
Thought you were describing the guy we had on camera the other day. Big chopper.
Oh, the guy with the big sideburns. Yeah,
big sideburns. Chance to do some damage for Miguel here.
Another chopper foul into the dugout. 2-2.
Keeps pounding the balls down into the ground, trying to lift. That's that uppercut swing.
Sano with a pop fly single to second. I may have said that he hit it to left field, but hit a pop fly single into right center field and then dropped one in front of Soler for a single. 2-2. Took ball 3. And Escobar on deck. Perez's reputation behind the plate will probably keep Mauer from going here. And another ball beaten right into the ground off the bat of Sano. Not that he needs any help, but the wind is blowing lightly out toward left field.
Not much of a factor here today, that's for sure.
Checked his swing and took ball 4.
Good at bat for Miguel.
Now they're loaded up for Escobar. 2 men in scoring position. Escobar has a pair of singles today as well.
You know, that walk right there can be as much of an indication that he's getting dialed in as anything. You know, he's got guys on base. He loves to get RBIs. He's had a ton against the Royals this year, but he's patient enough to not swing at those borderline pitches out of the zone. Draws a walk, and now it's full for Escobar.
Strike 1. Moss playing in front of the runner Sano at first base. Bit odd. Only going to come home if Escobar hits him a ground ball. And it's a double play grounder to Merrifield. Twins get a couple, but miss a great opportunity to jump back into the game big time. It's 5-2.
Get at Twins home games. Bring your Circle Me signs And if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Phil Hughes will start his first inning of work. He picked up the 4th inning after Santiago left. And a breaking ball, strike 1 to Jorge Soler. Hughes faced 6 batters in the 4th inning. Gave up hits to the first 3. 4 runs charged to Santiago, 1 to Hughes. And the Twins 2-run top of this inning, enough to make it important for Hughes to put up some zeros here, at least 1. Don't know how long he'll be asked to pitch. 1-1.
Oh.
2-1. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it can't hurt. You know, even if it hits him, it can't hurt.
Can't hurt the pitcher. It'll hurt Soler.
Ah, that ball ain't gonna hurt anybody.
Fouled away, 2-2.
Phil came into this game with a 3-run deficit. That's what he inherited. He had some runners on base and gave up a double that put the 4th run and the final run across and ended Hector Santiago's day. And now he takes the mound with nobody on base, still trying to get back from a 3-run deficit.
And now a full count. Hughes walked 1 man in the 4th, but it was an intentional walk, and the strategy worked because Perez bounced out to end the inning on the next pitch. And another base hit. Soler rounding first. He'll dig for second and get a double. Hughes giving up his 4th hit allowed. A leadoff double in the 5th. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Homes for Our Troops, building mortgage-free, specially adapted homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Learn more about how Homes for Our Troops is rebuilding lives and visit foxsportssupports.com. Well, it has been a disappointing outing for both Santiago and Hughes so far here.
Yeah, Phil's given up 3 doubles already here with only a couple outs recorded.
Breaking ball hits the corner. Torres drew a walk against Santiago, and shortly after that, Santiago was removed from the game. Base hit, center field. Buxton charges. And the throw to the cutoff man Escobar, 1st and 3rd, nobody out.
Ramon Torres having a nice series against the Twins. 2nd time on base. Got a couple hits in yesterday's games.
Well, Hughes has faced 8 batters and retired 2 of them.
Got 3 hits in game 2.
No activity in the Twins pen, although that might change shortly. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. The Twins will play the middle infielders back for Brandon Moss.
Brings up a good point. I think last year Paul Mahler probably got to manage about 25 games. Most of those games were damage control. And this is another one of those games where he's just trying to piece it together, hoping that the Twins will have a shot offensively to get back in it. Now look at the runners in scoring position. This is where KC has done well in this series, and again today, 4 for 7.
Fouled back, 0-2. Hasn't happened very often in this series, but we've told you routinely that Moss is very strikeout prone. Santiago struck him out in the 2nd. And here's a situation where Hughes isn't the strikeout pitcher he was a few years ago, but he could sure use one here.
That's the problem. Santiago and Hughes really don't have that put away pitch anymore.
0-2.
There it is.
Breaking ball down and in, one down, and now the Twins can hope for the ground ball hit at somebody and get out of this inning.
Throws a slider here, a curveball, and he gets it down in that and in quadrant. And Moss swings right over the top of it. Phil records his second strikeout.
Escobar greeted Hughes with an RBI double last inning, and then later scored himself. Escobar hit a double to the gap in right center field. The Twins have shortened up the outfield defense here, trying to cut down a potential runner on a sacrifice fly. Escobar not the most powerful Royal hitter, even though he homered yesterday. On the outside corner. Cleveland leading Detroit 11-1. The Indians knocked out Justin Verlander in the fourth. Boston leading Toronto 15-1 in the seventh inning.
Matt Belisle, who pitched yesterday, is up again throwing in the Twins pen.
Breaking ball gets a swing and a miss, 0-2. Hughes has given up a lot of hits on the fastballs, and he's trying to wriggle out of this mess with his off-speed stuff.
Well, he's doing what Phil Hughes typically does. 8 of 9 first pitch strikes.
Oh, 2 to Escobar, who is not strikeout prone. One every 5 times. Fastball driven foul. Oh, 2 to Alcides Escobar. Punch to right, a base hit, and the run will score. Soler in from third, and Escobar with his second straight run-producing hit against Phil Hughes. The Twins get a couple and have already given one back.
Yeah, let's look at the pitch here. I think he's trying to throw a fastball away, and it stays over the plate. And Escobar just shoots it to where he can, picks up 90 feet. More importantly, another run scoring for the Royals.
6-2. Number 9 batter Gordon has reached both times. Santiago hit him with a pitch, scored a run. Then Gordon drove in a run with a single against Hughes. Hooked wickedly foul. Again today, a lot of hits and a lot of runs. 8 runs on the board, 17 hits. And we're just in the 5th inning. Breaking ball dug out by Castro.
Yeah, another inning where the Twins defense is starting to stand around. It's hard to keep guys real focused and able to make great plays behind you when they stand around as much as they have here in the last 3 innings.
Especially after a doubleheader yesterday. Everybody would have wanted a quicker paced game than we've had. Popped up. And Escobar with room. 2 down. That'll bring up Merrifield.
Back to the top of the order for Phil Hughes. And I think he'll feel pretty fortunate if he can get out of this inning with only giving up the 1 run.
Merrifield with a pair of doubles. Looks like he's going to be a pain in the neck for the Twins for many years to come. The Royals, if they're going to remain contenders beyond this year, they'll almost certainly need more Whit Merrifields. Ball 1.
Well, it's funny, Whit Merrifield is considered a young guy, and yet he's older than Eric Hosmer is.
He's just less experienced.
He just doesn't have the time in the big leagues that Hosmer has had.
And because of that, he's under team control, which is not the case for Hosmer anymore after this year. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Royals have 10 hits and 6 of them against Phil Hughes. That's down the line, foul, 1-2. The Twins very much in this game. They want to win this game and finish this road trip with a winning record, but the Twins got another short start from Santiago this time. So then you're behind by 4 runs. What do you sacrifice today that might cost you tomorrow and Tuesday afternoon in the next 2 games in terms of bullpen work?
Not like it used to be, that's for sure. Now you have a lot of options. Taxi shuttling guys back and forth from AAA.
1-2 to Merrifield. 2-2. Twins also were entertaining the notion of making a roster move to allow for the return of A-Ray Adrianza. Whether that would be a position player or a pitcher might depend on how the Twins get through this game today. To center, Buxton drifts back, still drifting back, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Another run for the Royals. They lead 6-2, and you are watching Twins baseball, presented by State Farm. For the Twins to come back. Sanford Health injury report. It's just been a miserable year for the Mets, regardless of how you slice it. This is always curious when you see this. Had a bruised left hand, hit by a pitch last Sunday at San Francisco, and the Mets waited until last night to put him on the disabled list. having a good year in an otherwise dreadful year for his team. 6-2 here. Polanco, Rosario, and Buxton will face Alexander. Squaring and dropping a bunt foul, 1 strike. Polanco's 0 for 2. Rosario's 0 for 2. Buxton is 0 for 1. He's reached both times on an error and a walk. Trying to get something started like they had started in the 5th inning when the Twins took a walk and put together 3 singles to start the inning and got 2 runs out of it.
Twins need base runners.
Inside 1-1.
It's another slow-paced game. It's just turned into one of those. Who kind of expected it with Santiago, who's really struggled winning games lately, and then a relief pitcher taking the mound for the Royals. And now it's up to bullpens here as we kind of turn the corner halfway through this ball game.
Well, it's a large problem for baseball, the lack of pitching. 1-2. Chopper to short. Escobar. A throw that sailed on him a bit, but Ross was able to pull it. Moss was able to pull it in, 1 down.
You just said something that kind of got my attention, and I cannot disagree with you.
That's my job.
And that is, baseball has a problem with lack of pitching, and we see guys, you know, you look at today's game, how many pitchers take the mound with ERAs over 4.5? I mean, there was a generation where there wasn't a guy in the big leagues that would start a game with an ERA over 4.
Rosario takes outside.
And my thought is, you know, if they changed the mound at a time in the 60s because the mound was too high and they lowered it, maybe it's time to think about raising it back up. I don't know if that'll make a difference in the game today. Peter Moylan with a nice 6.23 ERA. He's getting loose. That's good enough to stick around the big leagues for a while.
Two and 0. Right before I started broadcasting for the Twins, Twins had a relief pitcher who was 0-13 one year. His name is Terry Felton. Right-handed pitcher, and his inability to win a ball game got him national attention. I think he got a spot on Good Morning America or something like that. 0-13. His ERA was 4.99, which would be quite acceptable these days.
Well, it'd be more understandable why he was 0-14. That would fit kind of where a lot of guys are today.
Chop foul. Rosario stays alive. He was 0-3 in 1980. He never did win a big league game. He finished his career 0-16. And he's a good dude. Got to know him a little bit. But the standards for pitching have decayed considerably.
Well, you know, we came from a generation that a hitting category was defined by a person. The Mendoza line was 200.
Right.
And today, nobody talks about that anymore. Because there's a lot of guys in the big leagues hovering around 200 offensively.
Off the handle of the bat, foul. Still 2-2 to Rosario. What's the remedy? How do you improve the state of pitching? You know, catching, we touched on that a little while ago. That's a separate matter. How you're going to beef up the quality of catching. But what are you going to do for pitching?
Well, unfortunately, the traditions of baseball are never going to be changed. You're not going to change the counts and make it, you know, less pitches to throw a strikeout. you'll never get any of those things. You're not going to change the distance from home plate to the mound. Maybe they would entertain the idea of raising the mound again. I don't know. Might change, you know, exit velocities and trajectory angle if the mound was raised. But I don't know if there's a simple solution. It's more kids going to have to want to pitch and want to be good at pitching, I guess.
Injuries, of course, a big problem. 1-0 to Buxton. He reached on an error and then led off the 5th with a 5-pitch walk and scored a run. Chopper left side. Escobar has to hurry. Got him. And we have a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. '17 is now out for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up and play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Your breakout MLB season is here. You better come ready to play. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Matt Belisle got 4 big outs last night. Situation last night, the Royals were threatening to retake the lead in the 6th inning. He gave up an opposite field double to Escobar, but then got the next 4 men. Rogers got the 3 men in the 8th, Kinsler the 3 men in the 9th, and the Twins ended a little 3-game skid.
35th game for Matt, so Paul Molitor has gone to him a lot, and most of the time he does, it's for an out or two or get through an inning, bridge the gap. In this case, try to keep the game within range.
And Bonifacio tried to turn one around on the first pitch, 1 strike. He's got a short start from Hector Santiago. He pitched into, but not through the 4th inning. Gave up 4 runs. Phil Hughes pitched an inning and 2/3 and gave up 2 runs. Oh, 0-2. Bonifacio will be followed by Hosmer and Perez. Up high. Fouled back. Twins won 7 of the first 8 games between these two teams. Now in danger of losing 3 out of 4 here in Kansas City. One more trip back here. In fact, the Twins and Royals play on back-to-back weekends in early September to close out the season series.
Even their wins-loss record, the Twins would be tied again with KC if they lose this one.
Belisle reaching back for 93 miles per hour and getting a punch out. That'll bring up Hosmer. 2 hits and an intentional walk on his afternoon.
Well, he's flared one to left, got a base hit early, and that was back in the first inning. In the third inning, he got a double to right that scored a run, and then he was intentionally walked in the fourth inning.
Big hack by Hosmer and a foul.
One of the reasons we've talked about it already here in this series is the offense has started to heat up and continuing to stay hot. This guy, a big part of that, really had a tough start to his season. Month of April when the Twins played them the first couple series, he just wasn't even making contact. He looked like a different guy, but you know, it's a guy that big part of the World Championship runs here.
A good track record.
Yeah, and free agent, going to be a premier free agent at the end of the year. Great defensive first baseman.
Be a ticklish situation for Dayton Moore and the Royals in terms of what you do with so many free agents. That's the danger. The Twins have gone through it before too, where they've had a class of free agents ready to graduate and move on, and it's tough to do that, tough to see the players leave, but some of them will through one means or another. Half swing but a strike, and Hosmer's gone. Belisle backing up a good outing last night with a good one so far here today.
You know, if this makes any sense at all, I think it'll be easier for Dayton Moore to get rid of guys if they win. If they go to postseason, then he can say, well, you know, especially if they're in the World Series, well, we made our run, can't afford them all, blah, 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 small market. But if they lose, you know, it's going to be harder to convince the fans why they didn't keep them, to give them a shot of winning again. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I think it's kind of a circular argument. If, you know, what do you do? You know, these guys, Hosmer, Perez is signed long term, no problem there. Moustakas, Kane. These guys are icons here because of what they did. And on the one hand, Dayton Moore's job is to do what's best for this franchise long term. And I don't think they're going to do anything right now. They'd be foolish to trade any of them.
They're in it right now.
But how would you, if you got to that point, how would you get rid of these guys?
Every team has done it.
Weak ground ball to second. Matt Belisle with a much needed good 6th inning. He has a 1-2-3-6.
A lot of runs scored by the Royals here. Whit Merrifield doubles, scoring Alex Gordon for the first run of the game. Later on, Eric Hosmer doubles, scores Merrifield. Sal Perez, little base hit to left, that scores Hosmer. And Alcides Escobar doubles into the right center gap, and that scores Torres. Alex Gordon get in on the act, that scores Alcides Escobar. Escobar again with another RBI later, that scores Solar. 6-2 Royals here as we approach the top of the 7th inning.
3 innings worth of at-bats for the Twins, and Jason Castro will lead off the 7th against Peter Moylan. Wasn't that long ago, the Royals, if they had a 6-2 lead going to the 7th, you could go ahead and beat the traffic out of the ballpark and go home. But that's not the case anymore. We'll see if the Twins can do anything against Moylan and whoever else might be pitching behind him. Castro singled and scored his last time up. Inside, ball 1. Royals go out to the West Coast after the game, take on the Mariners, and then take on the Dodgers next weekend before the All-Star break. Chip down the left field line. Soler with a long run, and he won't get there. It's about 4 feet foul. 1-1.
Well, Twins get to come home for their final series before the break. And got to believe for most players, unless they're playing on a road city that happens to be the home of the player going to that city, most guys would prefer to finish at home before they go to the break. A lot of players from California, it seems like nowadays. They'll be heading a long way to the West Coast.
Strike called, 1-2. Twins players are blessed because they are home before the break, and then Twin Cities Airport still a hub with a lot of flights coming out, and players can get to their destinations quicker.
I've always thought the worst job in baseball is traveling secretary, and nowadays even more so. So many moves. Can you imagine? On a daily basis, you're checking flights and trying to make arrangements for guys that are going back and forth all the time.
Tall fly ball to left, and Soler with the catch. Castro retired. Twins had a threat. They scored 2 in the 5th, had the bases loaded, 1 down, and since Escobar's ground ball double play, they haven't had a successful at bat. 1 down, and now Dozier.
Well, Brian Dozier had a great at bat his last time up with the runners aboard. He was able to shoot the ball to right field, picked up an RBI.
Strike at the knees. I'm guessing that you enjoyed the All-Star games you went to, and you also enjoyed the All-Star games that you didn't go to. In other words, you enjoyed the break if you weren't picked to the team.
Sure. I would say yes and yes. I mean, it's always fun and rewarding to be honored to play in the game. I always looked at it, it was an honor, and you should never turn it down. It's just my take on it. And compete to your best.
Driven to center, but Gordon is there for out number 2.
But there's no question that everybody could use a break. And when you play in the All-Star game, there is no break. You might get an afternoon off at home after the game ends, or on the road, depending on where you're meeting the team.
And when you played, it was a 3-day break. Now it's a 4-day break, and that's great for the players. They actually get to spend at least 2 days at home. Used to be, you might even have to travel on a Monday and come back on Wednesday with games on Thursday. Strike on the outside corner to Robbie Grossman. Singled in a run his last time up. And now driven foul. Worst case scenario, the Twins lose this game and they finish the mathematical first half of the season 41-40. of course, then a very important homestand coming up. Talked about all the teams, 7 of them within 3 games, one way or the other, the 500 mark. Outside, the Angels are one of those teams, and so too are the Orioles. So this homestand coming up will pit the Twins against 2 teams of, you know, similar stature in the league standings. And a called 3rd strike. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for the Kansas City bullpen. Alexander through the 6th, and now Moylan in the 7th. And the Royals have a 6-2 lead. Gorgeous day for baseball in this patriotic weekend. We're happy to bring you God Bless America.
To defend it. Please join us in singing God Bless America, being performed by Royals Fans Got Talent participant Carly Peterson.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with lights from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile, and just for you, Jack Morris, we're going to talk home runs. Mookie Betts got a couple of them today, drove in 8 runs, 15-1, and they're not done yet at the Rogers Center. Manny Machado hitting his 16th home run, but his first in about 2 weeks. Baltimore leading Tampa Bay. 19th home run for Anthony Rizzo.
It's just a wonderful thing, isn't it? Ball's going out of the ballpark. Well, we're going to get another look at Twins right-hander Trevor Hildenberger. He's got into a few ball games, but not in games which the Twins are winning. So he's had a battle, and I think sometimes it's better for young pitchers to get into these situations, but they really don't sense that competitive juices unless they're trying to preserve a W.
It's almost like you graduate to that stage, though, right? I
mean,
he's got to pay his dues in his role he's in now.
Yep, he's got to earn it, and he's got some stuff. You know, this is a guy that On paper, you're not going to say he has major league stuff, but he's able to pitch a little bit and change eye levels, arm angles at times, change speeds fairly well. And it'll be interesting to see how he does in this against this Royals lineup here.
Fastball up and in, and it's 3-1. Soler, Torres, and Moss in the Kansas City 7th. And down the middle, 3-2. Inside, got a strikeout. One down in the 7th.
Yeah, he tied him up right there. That's a funky swing for Jorge Soler. Never ever got the bat head to the ball. Look at how he handcuffed him there. Good sinker.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Well, in the top half of this inning, we saw Peter Moylan, who's got some funk and kind of has a similar delivery, I guess, to
Thunder from Down Under,
Hildenberger. And so Hildenberger can't help but notice Moylan and go, well, he's been around a while and has had a nice major league career.
Same delivery is what you're really referring to. Both guys kind of throw, not truly submariners, they're more sidearm guys.
It's a changeup that hits the outside corner.
I just like the demeanor of this young kid, Trevor Hildenberger. He's pretty poised out there. I think he's got a good idea what he's trying to do, and he's able to execute.
2-1.
And the other thing, Dick, is when he misses off the plate pretty much, not over the middle of the plate.
Wow, busted bat. Dozier scoops, fires, got him. In a way, that's almost more satisfying from a pitcher standpoint than a strikeout, isn't it?
Well, it's not your typical cheese inside. I think that was off the end of the bat. We'll have to take a look at the replay here. Yeah, that ball's off the end of the bat. Just maybe a faulty bat, quite honestly.
2 down, and now Brandon Moss. Haven't seen it yet, but Hildenberger, if he gets 2 strikes on a batter, then will change his arm angle and come in over the top.
He'll go over the top once in a while, which is kind of fun to watch. I mean, gives those hitters a different look.
Drifting outside on the first pitch, ball 1. Fouled back 1-1.
It's my theory that you should throw over the top against left-handers and drop down to right-handers, because lefties see it coming on the same plane. A little bit easier to handle, but you always want that downward angle to help with the sink. Good.
Right, there's a changeup, and see if we see it here. He's ahead of him now, 1-2. And all Moss knows about Hildenberger is that he throws sidearm. And he's got a good changeup.
Well, and what he wants to do with the pitch, if he comes over the top, is to sink it down and away.
Right. Nope, sidearm and another changeup got him.
Good outing.
Hildenberger with a really good outing. A weak ground ball, a couple of strikeouts. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm. RBI performances in Twins history, at least one of them. Glenn Adams drove in 8 on the day that Rod Carew had that wonderful day at Met Stadium when he drove in 6 and got his batting average over 400, and that record was later tied by Randy Bush down in Arlington, Texas. Joakim Soria will pitch for the Royals against the Twins, facing Mauer, Sano, and Escobar. Just need a jolt here in the 8th inning to make things interesting. Again, we don't know whether Kelvin Herrera is even available for the Royals because Ned Yost warmed him up twice yesterday and got him into one of the ball games. Fastball, strike 1 to Mauer.
Well, hopefully they won't get up Neftali Feliz.
Well, I'd like that.
Well, I'd like it too, but it might take another 45 minutes to.
1 strike to Mauer. 0 for 3. He's hit the ball to the second baseman Merrifield 3 times, all 3 times weekly. Inside, 1-1. Had a big threat built in the 5th, but got only 2 runs out of it. Taken low, 2-1. No secrets here. Mauer knows Soria. Soria knows Mauer.
Soria has been a former closer. Neftali Feliz, a former closer. Now Kelvin Herrera, closer. So they've got some veteran pitchers out of the bullpen.
Soria knows that Mauer's not going to chase pitches. He's just having a hard time throwing strikes.
Yeah, and that was the case with Feliz the other day.
Soria has yet to give up a home run this year. Strike, and it's 3-2. Day at the plate for Mauer. 0 for 4, 1 down. And Sano significantly with the bases empty. Led off the 2nd with a pop fly single, a 1-out single in the 4th, and then he walked to fill the bases.
Yeah, you don't see Joe Chase very often. That pitch out of the zone, he chased it. Last couple innings, both pitching staffs have really settled in. 1, 2, 3 innings for the Twins and the Royals.
Sano with a couple of hits has bumped the batting average up 5 points, but it's still just .273. I expect in terms of batting average, Miguel will have a much better second half of the year. The last couple of weeks have been tough on him, whether the All-Star game and the voting process had anything to do with it or not, I don't know. But I think this guy's going to be a .280, .300 hitter with a lot of walks and a lot of runs batted in.
Well, and I've always said I think hitters get better in the second half if you have any kind of focus, I guess is the best word. You've got to be healthy, number one, but I think pitchers start breaking down. And I think a lot of them make more mistakes the second half than they do early in the year. And those are the kind of pitches that good hitters feast off of.
2 strikes to Sano. Pitch back for 95 and put him away on 3 pitches. 9 straight batters retired, totaling 10 outs from the Kansas City bullpen.
2 straight strikeouts for Joakim Soria. 3 straight strikeouts for the bullpen and the Royals.
And it might be that what we're seeing here is both teams kind of hitting a wall in the middle innings after the long day yesterday. Wasn't just the 2 games, but each game was what, 3.5 hours long. Backstop ball 1.
Yeah, I think the first game was closer to 4 and the second game a little shy of 3.5.
1-0. Pulled foul. 1-1. Twins knew this was going to be a tough road trip. Apart from the travel, just with who they were going to be playing. The reigning American League champion Indians, they swept them. And then you go to Boston, 4 games with the Red Sox. You know they're going to be good. And catching the Royals at the peak of their season so far.
Well, the Twins 4 outs away from falling 3 games behind first place Cleveland.
Well, Tigers trying to come back. It's 11-6 in the 9th. 2-2. But you're right, Cleveland should win that.
I'm going to say I don't think that's going to happen. It has. You can never say never, but I don't think that's going to happen.
And now Escobar takes ball 3. Polanco on deck. Well, the hope is the Twins, when they get home starting tomorrow night, can put together a winning homestand. They haven't had a winning homestand,
I think,
since they swept the Royals in the opening series of the year.
I think this is the one time of the year where the Twins are going to really feel good to be home. I really do. I think the home crowd will energize them. Hopefully they'll go out and knock around one of their former teammates.
Yeah, Alex Meyer will start for the Angels tomorrow. Angels managing to stay afloat without Mike Trout. Lifted to left field. Easy catch for Soler. Another 1-2-3 inning in the 8th. All right, thank you, Tom. Hildenberger out there to pitch in the 8th inning. Outside ball 1. Great opportunity for Hildenberger.
Well, he had a great 7th inning, a 1-2-3 inning with a couple punch outs. Now he's got 8, 9, and 1 hitters.
Hey, 2-run home run, Nicholas Castellanos. It's 11-8.
Relax.
And a strike, 2-1.
You know what? But that would be our division. Got a big lead, blow it. With that bullpen, everybody's 500.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. That changeup has just been a devastating pitch
Well,
to righties and lefties.
It's been so slow, but it's in the strike zone, and just very hard to be patient enough. They've seen a lot of mid-90s, low 90s, and this is what, 70-something?
Keep waiting for that overhand fastball that Escobar hasn't seen from Hildenberger. Sidearm changeup again. I guess if they can't hit it, why would you throw anything else?
It's very, very soft contact when they make contact at all.
Two and two. Right off the end of the bat, weakly to Mauer. And he flips to Hildenberger, one away.
Covering his position, doing the things right, throwing strikes. So far, so good for the young guy. Eduardo Escobar is going to let him catch his breath as he has to cover first, give him the time to regroup for Alex Gordon.
And maybe saying, man, I'm glad I don't have to hit against you.
No, hitters never say that. Hitters say, you're lucky you don't have to face me. I'd get you. That's hitter's mentality.
Here's Gordon. One hit for Gordon, but it was a big one off of Phil Hughes. And the Royals kind of took control of things by scoring a couple of runs in the fourth inning. They'd already had a 3-0 lead. But the two in the fourth really hurt. Then the Twins got two, and the Royals came back with another one against Hughes. One and one. Changeup missing, 2-1. Another weak dribbler. Dozier, glove to glove, 2 down. Nice play by Brian Dozier. There have been 3 very weak ground balls against Hildenberger and 2 strikeouts. 2 down, and that'll bring up Merrifield.
Well, he's making his stock rise with the Twins coaching staff, that's for sure. Good play here by Brian. He's got to get rid of it quickly, and you know, those second basemen, middle infielders, they have a feel with their glove hand that they can flip the ball without ever having to touch it with their throwing hand.
Good ones, it's almost as if the glove is an extension of the hand.
Yeah.
1-0. Merrifield with a pair of doubles. Run scored, stolen base, RBI. Liner to left, and Rosario got it on the first hop. He's lucky he didn't skip by him. A 2-out single for Merrifield.
His third hit.
And that'll bring up Bonifacio.
Well, there's your answer. Kelvin Herrera is up and throwing in the Royals pen. Apparently Ned Yost not comfortable with a 4-run lead.
Bonifacio's 0 for 4 with strikeouts his last 2 times up. Merrifield goes. Castro's throw. Not in time. Pitchers like Hildenberger or submariners typically are slower to the plate. Merrifield wasted little time in stealing second.
Yeah, it takes him a while to get rid of the ball, and then a lot of off-speed pitches from Hildenberger. That's part of his game plan, so good guy to run on.
And now 2-0. 3-0. Hildenberger breezed through the first 5 outs. 3 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Merrifield single, a stolen base, and now 3-0 the count to Bonifacio.
Yeah, he needs to come back. Bonifacio 0 for 4, a couple punch outs his last 2 times up. Come after this guy.
He missed first and second, and Hosmer to the plate. Such a good outing for Hildenberger, so he didn't want these 2 guys to come around and score.
Yeah, here's how he went at him, and you can see just misfiring away on all 4 pitches.
Hosmer, a couple of hits and an intentional walk. Merrifield, the lead runner, goes, and no throw. Merrifield has stolen 3 bases against the Twins pitching here today. Pitches a strike to Hosmer. What that stolen base did is up for debate, I suppose.
Yeah. Good for his stats, I guess.
One and one. Merrifield may have stolen that on his own. Bonifacio didn't follow him to second base. Inside, and Hildenberger's having a hard time wrapping up his second inning.
Well, everything has been glove side for him, inside to a left-hander, away to the right-hander. He hasn't really thrown anything away, or his arm side, catcher's glove side.
33 pitches, just 17 strikes now. Through the 7th and early on in the 8th, his strike percentage very good. Poked down the line, foul by about a foot.
Thank you. Now with 2 strikes, Hildenberger and Castro are going to have a little conversation.
We haven't seen one overhand pitch yet. I don't know if this is the ideal spot for it or not.
I think the changeup down and away is probably the ideal pitch here. Tried to get it to sink. Hosmer is one of those guys. I mean, he's not to the extent of Ichiro, but he swings and he's bailing. He's going down the line, so might be susceptible to that sinker down and away. And very slow sinker at that from Hildenberger.
Two and two. Bonifacio goes, and Hosmer fouled the fastball back. The pitch clocked at 92 miles per hour. Take a look at the last pitch.
That's more of a 3/4. That's not the sidearm pitch there, and he gets it up there at 92 miles an hour.
Two and two to Hosmer.
Got him.
And Hildenberger pitches a couple of scoreless innings. We'll see if the Twins can force a bottom of the 9th when we come back. Twins down 6-2. They'll have one more innings worth of at bats against Kelvin Herrera. It'll be Polanco, Rosario, and Buxton. Herrera got in, struggled to get through the 9th inning last night. Warmed up in the afternoon game. See the high number of home runs for the 32 innings pitched. So we'll see if the Twins can get some guys on base, maybe hit a long ball. Only because we're in Kansas City. There's some weird stuff going on at Miller Park. Hunter Wendelstedt has sent 2 batters back to the bat racks because the pine tar on their bats was too far up the bat barrel, up beyond the trademark.
Shocking that he would do that.
Low, ball 1 to Polanco.
Well, like Dick mentioned, Herrera pitched an inning in yesterday's game, gave up a couple hits, 3 runs, 2 earned runs. He walked a batter, no strikeouts. So he's right back at it here less than 24 hours later.
At the knees, 1-1. Plenty of velocity. We saw Herrera a couple of times hit 100 miles per hour yesterday. Outside, 2-1. Looking where things are. First of all, the Twins have Vargas, Jimenez, and Kepler on the bench. But the Twins would love to send 8 men to the plate. The 8th man to bat would be Sano. Fouled away, 2-2. So far in 4 innings, the Twins have scored 5 runs against Herrera. Polanco flicks a 98-mile-per-hour fastball to the screen. Three and two.
Too many pitches. That's part of his problem. He used to come in and throw a couple strikes and force you to make contact, get a ground ball, or strike you out with 3 or 4 pitches. But a lot of full counts now with Herrera, and then you add a couple of foul tips like that.
Just 6 walks on the year. He's given up more home runs than walks in 32 innings. 35 hits in 32 innings. So it can be done. Looking for his 30th game finished, his 18th save. This is not a save situation. Pop up in the air, and Escobar calls for it, and he makes the catch. So a long battle, and Polanco retired. That'll bring up Rosario. Been a steamy day, and I've been watching Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, and he has really been hydrating, pounding bottled water, and he's done a nice job behind the plate. You know, the players go in and out of the dugout and all that, and the umpires are left out there to be exposed to the elements, whether it's really cold or, in this case, hot and humid. Strike one, and here you are years after your playing career is done, and do I sense still some hesitancy to compliment an umpire?
It's part of their job. That's what they signed up for. Way to go, guys.
Hang with them, right?
That's what they want to do.
0-2.
I have to admit, it's got to be hard on their backs, especially the home plate umpire's up and down. He's using his legs a lot, and he's, you know, those are the guys wearing the protection, so they're sweating a lot more. Base umpires, a lot of standing around, man. That's going to be hard on your back.
To left and down for a hit. Rosario pokes another single. Hit 5 singles last night. First hit today, and Kepler will hit for Buxton. Looking forward to getting home. Looking forward to seeing Alex Myers. Done pretty well for the Angels in his starts. was sent down after a couple of rough starts. He's pitched much better since his recall. And Adalberto Mejia going for the Twins. Mejia 2 wins on this road trip. Kepler pinch hitting for Buxton. And a strike on the outside corner. Wide of the plate. And any list of Royals who might be dealt before the end of this month would have to include Herrera, because he too is a free agent after this year.
Yeah, and I got to believe that a suitor team looking to maybe add him to staff would not be really looking for him as a closer. I think they'd be looking for him as a setup guy to somebody on their road in their bullpen already. And he would make a great addition to most bullpens. He struggled here against the Twins, throwing the ball over, falling behind again here, or even right now, 2-2.
Two and 2 to Max Kepler. Bounce to the right side. Merrifield to first. And on to second base, Rosario. The Twins are down to their last out. Castro with a single and a run scored. In retrospect, best chance the Twins have had to get back into the ball game was in that 5th inning. Buxton took a leadoff walk, and then 3 singles followed.
Yeah, the 4-6-3 double play that Eduardo Escobar hit into is really an inning killer. They had something going there.
Castro 1 for 3. Put the ball in play all 3 times.
Whoop.
The bat missed the ball, and then Castro lost the bat. 1 strike. Expect great weather for the homestand starting tomorrow. Night game tomorrow, day game Tuesday. And looking forward to some.
Well, you've had great weather here in KC, quite honestly. I know today was a little bit sticky bun kind of day, but high 80s, middle of summer in Kansas City is not too bad. A couple beautiful night games.
1 strike to Castro. And a ball. Now 2-1. Twins 1 out away from finishing this 11-game road trip with a 5-6 mark. Be their first losing road trip of the year. Now the Twins are down to their last strike. Cleveland beat Detroit 11-8. So
see, told you.
game for the Tigers. You figure they score 8 runs on a day Justin Verlander starts, and they're probably going to win that game, but they didn't. Verlander left in the 4th. So if the Royals finish off the Twins here, they'll join the Twins at 41-40, 3 games behind first place Cleveland. 3-2. Dozier on deck. Castro protecting the plate, lifting a foul fly.
Well, the fans got on their feet when Castro came up, sensing the final out, and they're going to have to stand for a while here.
Especially if Herrera walks Castro.
Yeah. Some will sit back down, but a bunch of them will cheer until that final out is recorded, or the Twins tie the game.
3-2. And another foul ball. Ninth pitch of this at bat to Jason Castro. And he walked him. And Dozier will hit with the tying run now in the on deck circle.
It just hasn't been very easy for Kelvin Herrera against the Twins this year. He's kind of labored through his innings.
Dozier with an RBI single, 1 for 4. And if he can keep the game alive, Grossman would come to the plate as the tying run.
Nope.
Ball 1. And you can't help but wonder about the workload. Herrera yesterday must have thrown 30 to 40 pitches in the bullpen, even though he didn't come into the game in the afternoon, and then threw what, 8 pitches in the nightcap in a non-save situation.
27 here now in this game.
1-1 to Dozier. Strike 2. One and 2 to Dozier. And the Royals and Twins are now both 41-40. And both of them sitting 3 games behind the Indians in the Central.
Well, the Twins will come home looking to get back in the win column. Lost 3 in Boston. Now they lose 3 of 4 here in Kansas City. The Royals end up tying them as they head towards the All-Star break in the race, 3 games behind Cleveland.
Tom Hanneman and the Twins hit the road 2.5 games behind Cleveland, and even though they swept the Indians, they returned from the road 3 games behind Cleveland with a nice, attractive homestand starting tomorrow night.